Joining us now is Amelia Armstrong. Amelia's a dog sitter. She dog sits for customers of Dog Vacay, about which we've talked already. Welcome, Amelia. It's fantastic to have you with us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
So my participants and I have been studying what I call matchmaker models, these businesses where entrepreneurs bring buyers together, buyers and sellers together, without ever really owning the goods. And they do that in a variety of industries. And in your setting, that's happening in pet sitting, of course. So you've been sort of a beneficiary of this phenomenon, really, as a pet sitter for Dog Vacay. So I think my entrepreneurs, many of whom are probably thinking about these matchmaker or marketplace models, would like to know how a seller thinks about that. Could you talk about what it's been like from the very beginning? You signed up, and then what happened?
Yeah, so I mean, I created a profile, which is very similar to like how I would create a social media profile. You know, you upload pictures, you create a description of yourself, and then at that point, you know, you're live. Like the people can browse you and request meet and greets, which is how the process works, is that clients or people who own dogs will actually go on there, and by region, essentially I put in my hometown or where I currently live, and they search dog sitters. And I was one of them. And, you know, I think it started with just a meet and greet. Every job starts with a meet and greet, which is a situation where you visit the home with the animal, and you meet the owner, and they meet you, and it's sort of like a little first date of sorts.
But with a dog and the owner, right?
A dog and the owner, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's, from my perspective, it was thrilling in the sense that like I could, you know, get to know this animal and this pet owner, and it's usually somebody I really like and somebody that's has similar tendencies to me. And yeah, so that's kind of how it starts.
And then what happened? Did you get a lot of work? You got a little bit of work? You did a lot of meet and greets, but none of them panned out. You know, what was the experience like?
And I think not every meet and greet will turn into a job, because sometimes they're just looking to add someone to their list of considerations, like people to go to in case they go on vacation. But I would say 7 out of 10 on average turned into a job eventually. I don't really know how to measure the success of that or how much hassle that is for the payoff, but for me it was fine. I didn't mind. There are times when meet and greets can last, you know, it takes 15-20 minutes to get there, and then they can last an hour, and then, you know, by the time you get home it's a good 3-hour trip.
Wow, that's a big commitment. And do you get paid for the meet and greet?
You do not, no. And I suppose, you know, I think other people would mind, but I didn't mind so much.
Yeah.
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 I mean, my time is my own. I can spend it, because I'm a freelancer, I can spend it however I want to. And I just enjoyed myself.
So what have you found you like about this whole arrangement with Dog Vacay?
I like the fact that I can make connections, make relationships. You know, being new to the area, I definitely, you know, I'm looking for that. But just in general, I'm kind of the person who is personable, who wants personal connections, and I don't exclude animals from that. So
connections with dogs are a good thing, right?
Exactly. Like it's almost like my local family, and it's just, I find it really joyful to be around dogs. It just brings me, for lack of a better term, like inner peace. And so that's primarily why I do it, is because whenever I see a dog and spend time with a dog, I feel joy. And then beyond that, I suppose I just, from a practical standpoint, it's a little bit of extra money on the side. I like that, I guess. Who doesn't like money on the side? But I don't do it for the money. I generally do it to make a connection and to form a relationship.
So that's pretty cool. What are
Yeah.
the things that maybe you don't like about it?
I mean, the other day, I had a walking job. So even though it was 15 minutes from my home, it takes me, 15 minutes to get there. It's a half an hour walk, $10 per half an hour. Um, and then 15 minutes home, it's almost an hour of my time
For 10
for
bucks.
$10. And then they take 20% off the top. So,
Don't spend it all at once, Amelia.
and I'm sort of, interrupting my day. And
Yeah.
there's something to be said for the efficiency of that. And I understand that that's perhaps not ideal. So there are situations when it can get inefficient and become more of a hassle.
So you get $10 for something like an hour's work, in the example you talked about. Uh,
Yeah.
who set the price at $10? Does the market set that price, or you set that price, or Dog Vacay sets that price? How does that work?
Yeah. Well, originally I just looked on the site to see what everyone else was charging. And that's how I essentially started my pricing was what everyone else was charging. And so it's a half an hour walk for $10, not including travel time. So that's what everyone else is
That's the
charging.
going
And I
price,
didn't,
huh?
so I was like, okay. And I and it sounds reasonable. But once you really think it through, it's really $10 an hour, actually less um, given the amount of the 20% they take away. So it's unless it's a sitting gig where you're earning $35 a night, sometimes $50 if there are two dogs.
Hmm.
Um,
So those are better.
those are better. I mean, certainly if it's close to home and the home is nice, um, a place that I'd like to stay. And it can be better for sure.
So are you able to get as much work as you like?
Um, I find myself getting about a meet and greet request maybe a couple times a month, which is fine. It turns into I have regular clients that I walk for, and certainly past clients that I've sat for, who will come to me without a meet and greet. Now I've done the work to form those relationships, and it's so now about a new client comes in every maybe once a month, I would say on average, like a booking once a month, which is fine with me. It's honestly it's for the dogs. It sounds crazy, but I feel like they need me, and they're stuck at home, and they need to be cared for. So
And you're happy to do it.
I am.
So,
Sign me up.
so the other part of your life, or at least another major part of your life, is being a photographer, right? And from the looks of your
Yes.
website, you're a very talented photographer, I might say.
Thank you.
Have you thought about using a similar service, for example, to get photo assignments? I don't know if they exist.
Yeah, I mean, I generally photograph people in a documentary style. So I've often thought about dogs and families too. I document families in a sort of a documentary, unposed, day in the life type style. Um, and often dogs are at home at these homes that I photograph for. So I have thought about doing like little documentaries, which is
Dogumentaries, did you
yes,
say?
I know. I like little because they have such personality. And I've thought in the back of my mind, how amazing it would be to sort of put together a short little video made up of many clips, telling the story of an animal.
Well, this is really cool. I,
Yeah.
I want to say thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah.
You're taking, some time out of your busy day, and I really appreciate that. And I think my participants are going to really like kind of having a sense for what it's like for somebody who's a supplier to one of these platform or matchmaker or marketplace businesses. So it's really kind of you, Amelia. Thank you so
Well,
much for coming along.